Hi, welcome to my technical breakdown for my third year rigging project, Citrus. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down this character from concepting and research to modeling, and finally, rigging. Citrus is an old personal character design of mine that I've had for a few years now. She's very fashionably goth, can speak French, and has a sentient parasite for hair. She's pretty heavily influenced by both Venom and Philia. I chose to use her design for two key reasons. I wanted to try my stylized modeling again. I wasn't very satisfied with my character model from last year, and I wanted to make something more in line with my actual art style. I wanted to work with a design that was simple, with a unique hook. Citrus's design is deceptively simple, with lower complexity coming from her hair, which I knew would be an interesting challenge to render and rig in 3 dimensions. I drew up a quick model sheet that gave her shortened hair that would be easier to model and rig. With my concept in mind, I set about looking for models that conveyed the aesthetic approach I was aiming for. This model, by a SketchUp user Nick Zava284, is incredible, but I was not aiming for realism. This model, by a SketchUp user Lily Preston, is also incredible, and much more akin to the visual style I was aiming to replicate. I then looked at a number of rigged characters, to ascertain the common features of a rig. Using Valve Corporation's Source Filmmaker, I took note of various features of the Scout rig, including full facial rigging, an adjustable rig root, removable accessories, IK and FK limb support, and a bone visibility toggle. I compared these features to more contemporary characters, such as Tracer from Overwatch, noting almost all the same features were present. I then moved on to looking at a model designed exclusively for animation in Maya, Jonathan Cooper's ASRI rig. This rig features extensive and intuitive use of blend shapes and is highly adjustable. With my character concept gaining approval from my tutor, and having completed my research, it was time to produce the model itself. In the interest of saving time, Citrus was constructed using the same low-poly base mesh I used for my model last year. Most of the model was sculpted in ZBrush, save for the hair and eyes. My stylized approach simply did not suit high-poly sculpting for these parts. These were instead made in Maya directly, alongside the model retopology. Knowing that I would not be using complicated textures, I auto-unwrapped the base mesh and textured it manually in Clip Studio Paint. Citrus has a very simple color scheme that is intended for flat lighting in Maya. By using pure black for the hoodie, I gave it some wiggle room to deform it naturally without being obvious to the viewer. Parts such as our actual hair use no actual textures and instead use just Lambert shaders. Simple shading was added to her legs and head, though instead of shading the neck, a choker was added to give her head slightly more definition. Fingernails and fingerprints were also added to the hands to make the individual digits more readable. Her pants are also clear white, which contrasts with her upper and lower body, whilst complementing the White Nationals logo on her hoodie. This was chosen due to its simple design and the fact that it fits her character, both tonally and literally. In combination with her model silhouette, Citrus is designed with easy readability in mind. With the base mesh and textures complete, it was time to rig. While I spent quite a while in the actual design of my model, the rigging process would be far the most intensive and long part of the process. I purposely left it as the last major part of my development, as I knew how to make a model look good, but I didn't really know how to make a good rig. Thankfully, I had a wealth of resources to work with, both provided to me directly and through searching online. Jason Baskin's tutorial on IK limb setup was referenced for both the legs, arms, and spine controls, while the rest of the controls were created fully in our documentation and using the knowledge I had accumulated through many iterations. One key planned feature that was cut was an FK IK setup, which was successfully set up to the limbs, but proved too difficult to implement into the full rig. As I had built the rig with IK in mind, and it's my personal preference as an animator, this was chosen over FK movement. Citrus features movement options that are built directly into her feet controls, which allow an animator to have her feet swivel, peel, and pivot with a greater sense of control. Her hands, however, use a simple FK setup that allow for individual figure adjustment. As you can see, she's got most gestures down. As mentioned, the legs, arm, and spine all use IK movement. Legs and arms feature elbow and knee controls that are attached to the rig, but are independent of the hand and feet controls. The spine uses cluster deformations and IK spine handles to create its curve. Controls exist for the lower back and upper back. The former allows for easy hip movement that can make the neck look slightly elongated and should be used with caution. The actual eyes were created fairly late into the process. Drawn eyes were attempted, but looked like luster and didn't fit the model. The final eyes were mostly modeled in Maya instead. Originally, these eyes hosted 2D planes that I planned to move via blend shapes. Aim constraints were also considered, but not actually implemented until I followed our documentation material on creating 2D eyes. The final eyes use a squash sphere and transparent textures to create the effect. These eyes use an aim constraint control and can be adjusted individually or as a grip selection. They're parented to the neck control, but not the head control, which allows the animator to move Citrus's head whilst maintaining the same direction for the eyes. Blend shapes were implemented for several different purposes. The first and key reason was to allow for rudimentary face animation. Citrus is capable of a range of different emotions, as can be seen here. These are created using self-selection and can be triggered for the left, right, or both sides of the face. These are also used not just for her own eyes, but the eyes of her hair. Blend shapes are also used to correct the position of Citrus's teeth, inflate the fullness of her pockets, adjust the direction of her arm tails, and most importantly, change the length of her socks. The rigging process was very iterative, with changes and adjustments being made to the model throughout as I learned. I did not want to bind the skin to the rig until the rig was very close to being feature complete, though several test skins were attempted beforehand. One major change to the model was made in order to accommodate the jaw of her hair. Citrus's head mesh was partially caved in using self-selection. A set of static inner teeth were created to provide a constant sharp teeth image whenever the outer teeth were opened. The teeth and hair strands were all created using the same 5-sided cone base. Like normal teeth, the hair teeth have a top row and a bottom row, with 4 teeth at the top and 5 at the bottom. Each individual tooth was given between 3 and 4 bones and 3 control shapes. Due to the intertwining nature of these shapes, the top row are colored differently from the bottom row, so they can easily be read by the animator. Several bones and control shapes are also added to Citrus's fringe, bangs, and the back of the head strands. This allows the animator to add some basic physics interactions to the hair, or have it move like a living beast. A particle emitter was also added to the head controls. This emits a black circle particle from her hair every few seconds. A simple aesthetic choice to slightly reinforce the unhairness of her hair. More of these were considered, but were cut in the interest of performance. Though it came very late, the skinning process was relatively short and went relatively smoothly. Areas like Citrus's pants connect slightly awkwardly when her legs are raised, but for the most part very little weight pain was required, with the hands and feet going essentially untouched. The hand controls, head controls, and hair controls were all implemented after this phase, and once they were completed and inserted into the hierarchy, the model was essentially ready for work. While not all of the model is contained in the rig root, it is a constraint to it, allowing the root to translate, rotate, and even scale the model to the animator's liking. However, because parts of the model are constrained directly to the skeleton, the joints have to be manually turned off one by one. A copy of the skeleton that is not bound to the model, but is visible, is provided in the file for easy examination. Controls are hidden and locked relative to what part of the model they control. For example, the finger controls only control the rotation values of their respective digits, and can fall out of sync with the rest of the model if translated or scaled, hence why these values are hidden and locked. Visibility is also tied to the layers. The model can still be broken and distorted, though only if this is the express intent of the animator to exaggerate movement or create a broken bone. Layers were also added to allow the animator to switch off and turn on parts of the rig and model as needed. This is useful for features such as Citrus's charm, which can bleed into her neck when she looks too far down, and may want to be turned off in scenes where she's doing this a lot, for example. Her hands can also be hidden to make it look like they're inside her hoodie sleeves. A donut model was quickly made to test Citrus's ability to grasp an object, as well as giving her something to feed her hair with. And on that tasty note, this concludes the rigging and development of my character. A lot of progress was made with this model, but IKFK wasn't the only cut feature. Other cut features include a working tongue, animated textures, and a jaw control. These all made it to various stages of development before being dropped. Citrus also lacks the ability to easily switch textures, though variations on her outfit were created. She also lacks dedicated face controls outside of her eye rig. These are all things I hope to implement in some capacity in models I make in the future. However, I'm still very happy with this rig. I've learned a lot about the in-depth mechanics of rigging, and have named so many hierarchy elements that I will never, ever forget how to do so again. Overall, I feel I've made a unique character that is usable for a variety of animations and that I feel is more true to my art style. I hope you found this video enjoyable and informative. Thank you for watching.